they just went to every one of them looking for me. They said, the paperwork said the 24th, that I had to be there the 28th, and then it was the 27th. I told them, I can't make it there, that's tomorrow.
A woman is accusing Sean Diddy Combs of drugging and raping her when she was 16 years old in 2000.
All right, let's dive into this. Picture this, the music industry is buzzing, the headlines are screaming, and Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most iconic figures in entertainment, is now caught in a whirlwind of controversy. But what's more shocking? The fact that his mother, Janice Combs, has been dragged into the chaos and is being accused of masterminding a decades-long empire of corruption. Yes, you heard that right. Mama Combs is the name on everyone's lips, and if this lawsuit is anything to go by, it's looking like she wasn't just sitting pretty in the background all these years.
And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at
Okay.
a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
So what's the tea? Well, it all starts with a bombshell lawsuit filed by Kirk Burrows, who once stood shoulder to shoulder to shoulder with Diddy as a co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment. Kirk isn't just throwing shade, he's coming with receipts, claiming he was forced to surrender his 25% stake in the label back in 1996 under circumstances that sound straight out of a mob movie. According to Kirk, Diddy stormed into his office with a baseball bat in hand, accompanied by his lawyer Kenneth Meiseles, and essentially gave him an ultimatum he couldn't refuse. The result? Kirk signed over his shares, and those shares mysteriously made their way into Janice Combs' hands. Coincidence? Kirk doesn't think so. Now, here's where this story gets even juicier. Janice wasn't even in the room during this alleged confrontation, but Kirk's lawsuit claims that she orchestrated the entire scheme from behind the scenes. Let that sink in for a second. The woman who's often seen as the proud, supportive mother sitting front row at awards shows is now being painted as the mastermind of a hostile takeover that left Kirk not only ousted from the company he helped build, but also financially ruined. He's reportedly spent years living in shelters, trying to piece his life back together, while the Combs family allegedly reaped the rewards of his hard work.
Called this afternoon at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, they're legal documents. The government's saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
And it doesn't stop there. The lawsuit accuses Janice of more than just benefiting from Kirk's downfall. It claims she knowingly held onto his stolen ownership stake for over 2 decades, only coming clean about it in 2024 when an attorney's investigation forced her hand. Think about that, over 20 years of silence while Kirk's life fell apart. If true, this isn't just a case of bad business, it's a calculated, cold-blooded move to consolidate power and keep Bad Boy Entertainment under the tight control of the Combs family.
That's it. You know, if it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
But let's not forget, this is more than just a business dispute. The lawsuit suggests that this move was part of a much larger pattern of corruption that's been quietly fueling Diddy's empire for years. Janice is being accused of playing a pivotal role in maintaining this empire, acting as a shield for her son by keeping assets and profits under her name. Why? To create plausible deniability for Diddy, of course. It's a classic play straight out of the handbook of organized enterprises: keep the real power hidden behind a clean figurehead. For years, Janice has been seen as just that, a figurehead. Her public image is one of elegance and poise, a proud mother who celebrated her son's successes and stood by him through his ups and downs. But if these allegations are true, it seems she was far more than just a spectator. According to the lawsuit, she was the anchor that kept Diddy's alleged house of cards from collapsing. She's being accused of holding assets, laundering finances, and even helping to intimidate and gaslight victims to protect the family brand. And let's be real, if this is true, it's not just about stolen shares anymore. This lawsuit could very well be the key to unraveling a web of deceit that stretches far beyond what anyone imagined.
So that, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours gathering evidence for your side, or strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
Now, why is this all coming to light now? Well, it turns out that Kirk wasn't the only one raising alarms. Over the years, there have been rumors, really about the darker side of bad boy entertainment. Lawsuits have come and gone, but this one feels different. For one, it's being led by attorney Tyrone Blackburn, who has made a name for himself by taking on high-profile cases involving corruption and misconduct. And, let's just say, when Tyrone gets involved, things tend to escalate quickly. Remember the Little Rod lawsuit? People dismissed it at first, but not long after federal authorities raided Diddy's properties and the allegations in that lawsuit started to look a lot more credible. Could the same thing happen here? Time will tell, but the pieces are starting to fall into place, and the picture they're painting isn't pretty. So what exactly does this mean for Janice? Well, if the allegations hold up, she could be facing some serious consequences. The lawsuit doesn't just accuse her of passive involvement, it paints her as an active participant in orchestrating and concealing fraudulent activities. And let's be honest, if the federal investigation into Diddy's empire is as deep as people think it is, it's only a matter of time before Janice is named as a co-conspirator. This isn't just a civil matter anymore, it's a RICO case, and those have a way of pulling everyone involved into the spotlight.
Live, a judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking case.
But here's the kicker, the lawsuit doesn't just focus on what Janice did in the past. It raises questions about what she might still be hiding. Is she connected to other financial irregularities? Has she helped Diddy move money linked to illegal activities? And what about the other allegations swirling around bad boy entertainment? Could she have played a role in covering up or enabling some of the darker claims that have surfaced over the years? The lawsuit doesn't provide all the answers, but it certainly opens the door to some very uncomfortable questions.
No, I'm not surprised by the ruling because, as she cited in her order, there are very serious allegations about the danger that he potentially poses to other witnesses and the public at large. There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated.
And let's not forget the human element here. Kirk Burrows isn't just a name on a piece of paper, he's a man whose life was allegedly destroyed by these actions. The lawsuit describes how he was blacklisted from the industry, his reputation tarnished, and his financial stability shattered. Imagine building something from the ground up, only to have it ripped away from you in such a brutal and calculated manner. Whether you believe Kirk's claims or not, it's hard not to feel the weight of his story and wonder how many others might have faced similar fates. As the lawsuit unfolds, the public is left to grapple with a narrative that feels almost too wild to be true. Is Janice Combs really the puppet master behind the scenes, pulling the strings to keep Diddy's empire afloat? Or is she, as she's maintained in her public statements, a loving mother who's being unfairly targeted in a smear campaign against her son? One thing's for sure, the story is far from over, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's pick up where we left off, because the drama surrounding Diddy and his mother, Janice Combs, dives even deeper into the murky waters of scandal. If you thought the accusations against Janice were explosive, wait until you hear how this lawsuit is shaking the very foundation of Diddy's empire. Bad Boy Entertainment, once celebrated as a powerhouse in the music industry, is now being painted as something much darker, a carefully crafted facade hiding years of alleged misconduct, corruption, and control. And let's face it, when the walls start closing in, it's not just the figureheads who feel the heat. The entire empire begins to crumble, and everyone, family, associates, and even the legacy itself gets pulled into the chaos.
Both sides in the Sean Diddy Combs case have until today to give answers for how the music mogul has been communicating from jail. Combs appearing in court last Friday seeking bail while he awaits trial. He's been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since September.
So let's start with Diddy himself. For decades, he has been the face of success, glamour, and influence. He's the man who turned Bad Boy Entertainment into a juggernaut, launched the careers of countless artists, and built a reputation as a savvy businessman. But behind the glitz and the carefully curated image, there have always been whispers. Whispers of shady dealings, of manipulation, and of a pattern of behavior that goes far beyond the music industry. And now, with this lawsuit and the broader federal investigation, it feels like those whispers are turning into a full-blown roar.
This is video of Diddy's family arriving to court for last Friday's hearing. Prosecutors arguing that he misused prison systems in an attempt to tamper with potential witnesses. And they say they have proof Diddy used other inmates' phone cards or used three-way calls with friends to contact associates that prosecutors consider to be a part of his criminal enterprise.
What's particularly damning is how this lawsuit against Janice ties into the multitude of other claims against Diddy. Over the years, former associates, employees, and even family friends have come forward with allegations that paint a troubling picture of how Bad Boy Entertainment operated. Take, for instance, the allegations of intimidation and strong-arm tactics used to consolidate power. multiple sources have described scenarios where Diddy and his team allegedly used threats and coercion to silence dissent and maintain control. And let's not forget the claims of financial manipulation stories of unpaid royalties, stolen ownership stakes, and deals that seemed more like traps than opportunities. But here's the thing, this isn't just about Diddy anymore. The lawsuit against Janice suggests that this pattern of behavior wasn't limited to one man. It implies that the entire Combs family may have been complicit in creating and maintaining a system that thrived on secrecy and fear. And that's where things get really interesting, because if Janice was indeed a key player in this alleged empire, it raises questions about just how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Diddy is now suing. So according to our friends over at Us Magazine, Diddy, who remains in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center while he awaits trial. Us Weekly writes this. It says Sean Diddy Combs has filed a defamation lawsuit against one of his accusers, their attorney, and News Nation.
Think about it. For years, Janice has been portrayed as the doting mother, the elegant matriarch who stood by her son's side through thick and thin. But this lawsuit challenges that narrative, suggesting that she was far more than just a supportive parent. According to the claims, Janice played an active role in managing assets, concealing financial irregularities, and even participating in schemes to defraud and intimidate others. And if that's true, it means she wasn't just a bystander in Diddy's rise to power, she was an integral part of it. Now, let's talk about the broader implications of these allegations. If the claims against Janice and Diddy are proven true, it could lead to a domino effect that brings down not just the Combs family, but also the entire bad boy empire. Already, there's talk of federal investigators looking into the financial dealings of the label, and if they find evidence of wrongdoing, it could result in severe consequences. We're talking about potential asset seizures, criminal charges, and even the possibility of life sentences for those involved. And let's not forget the impact on the artists and employees who were part of Bad Boy Entertainment. If the label's finances are called into question, it could mean years of litigation as people fight to recover what they're owed.
The paperwork claimed that Burgess and Mitchell fabricated, quote, outrageous lies against Diddy so that they could, quote, gain social media fame, enrich themselves, and strip Mr. Combs of his reputation, livelihood, and right to a fair trial.
But the fallout doesn't stop there. This scandal is also having a ripple effect on the music industry as a whole. Bad Boy Entertainment was once seen as a symbol of success, a blueprint for how to build a music empire. Now, it's becoming a cautionary tale, a reminder of what can happen when power is abused and accountability is ignored. And for Diddy, a man who has always prided himself on his image, this is more than just a legal battle. It's a fight for his legacy, his reputation, and everything he's built over the last 3 decades. And let's not forget the artists who were once the lifeblood of Bad Boy Entertainment. Many of them have struggled in the years since their time with the label, with some even hinting at unfair treatment and questionable financial dealings during their careers. Mace, for example, has been vocal about his grievances, accusing Diddy of exploiting him and other artists under the guise of mentorship. In a public outcry, Mace claimed he wasn't properly paid for his contributions, and that he was locked into a contract that benefited the label far more than it did the artists. Could this be another thread in the unraveling fabric of Bad Boy's legacy?
And because the 8 people in the videos, the 8 celebrities in the videos were allegedly victims of crimes, we know who they are, but we will not be naming them, famous or not.
And what about other former collaborators and employees? Behind the glitzy music videos and chart-topping hits, there's been consistent chatter about how business was conducted at Bad Boy. Rumors have swirled for years about artists feeling trapped, unable to fully capitalize on their own work. Some have even described the label as a golden cage where success was dangled in front of them, but true independence was never an option. And now, with this lawsuit against Janice and the broader investigation into Diddy's dealings, those whispers are starting to sound more like alarms.
Were there any cameras in places where you'd assume privacy, like bathrooms?
Well, I've never been in this house, but the picture, yes. That's where it took place, yes.
You're aware of surreptitious cameras that were recording in private places like bathrooms?
I didn't see the cameras. You could tell how the person was angled.
This isn't just about contracts or unpaid royalties, it's about a culture that may have prioritized profit over people. If the allegations against Janice and Diddy are true, they suggest a system where control and intimidation were used to maintain dominance not just over competitors but over their own roster of talent. And if that's the case, it's no wonder that so many former associates are now finding the courage to speak out. The industry is shifting, and the old rules of silence and loyalty no longer seem to apply. Of course, Diddy isn't taking this lying down. His legal team has been quick to dismiss the allegations, calling them baseless and part of a larger effort to tarnish his name. And let's be real, this isn't the first time Diddy has faced controversy. Over the years, he's managed to navigate scandals and come out on top, whether it was lawsuits, disputes with former artists, or even public feuds with other industry heavyweights. But this time feels different. This time, the stakes are higher, and the accusations are more serious. And with federal authorities reportedly involved, it's not just a matter of public opinion, it's a matter of law.
Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8.
But here's the question no one seems to be asking: if these allegations are true, why now? Why are these claims coming to light after so many years? Some speculate that it's because of the changing cultural landscape, where people are more willing to speak out against powerful figures. Others believe it's the result of years of tension finally boiling over, as former associates and employees feel emboldened to share their stories. And then there are those who think this is just the tip of the iceberg, that there's more to this story than we know, and that the full extent of the alleged misconduct has yet to be revealed. And speaking of revelations, let's not forget about the other lawsuits and claims that have surfaced in recent years. From accusations of misconduct to allegations of financial impropriety, it seems like the walls are closing in on Diddy and his family. And while some might dismiss these claims as opportunistic or exaggerated, the sheer volume of allegations makes it hard to ignore. It's like a puzzle, with each new piece adding to a picture that's becoming increasingly difficult to deny.
I'm not surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee. He has a...
But let's not lose sight of the human element in all of this. At the heart of these allegations are real people like Kirk Burroughs, who claim to have been wronged and are now seeking justice. And while the legal battles will play out in court, the court of public opinion is already in session. For many, this isn't just about Diddy or Janice, it's about accountability, about holding powerful figures responsible for their actions, and about shining a light on the darker side of an industry that often operates in the shadows. So where does this leave us? Well, for now, it's a waiting game. The legal process will take time, and it's likely that more revelations will come to light as the investigation continues. But one thing is clear: the days of bad boy entertainment being untouchable are over. The empire that once seemed invincible is now under siege, and it's not just Diddy who's feeling the heat. His mother, his family, and everyone connected to the label are now part of the story, and the world is watching to see what happens next. As the drama unfolds, one can't help but wonder, is this the beginning of the end for Diddy's empire? Or will he find a way to weather the storm and come out on top once again? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: this is a story that's far from over. So, buckle up, because the ride is just getting started, and the twists and turns are bound to keep coming. What do you think? Is there more to this story than meets the eye? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding saga. Until next time.